What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're an aspiring high achiever who would love to shift the needle from intention to execution, you're absolutely in the right place. I do a lot of mindset videos on this channel, and so if that's your thing, please press the subscribe button so you won't miss videos from me. In today's video, I was thinking about my old mountain bike. There was this mountain bike that I used to ride to school when I was in primary school, and I absolutely loved it. From what I recall, it had about 5 gears, but for the life of me, I remember that I always used to ride that bike in one particular gear that I felt comfortable with. So it didn't really matter whether there was terrain or if it was uphill or downhill, if it was raining or not. I always used to ride that bike in that particular gear. And I was thinking to myself, isn't that typical of our lives and the way that some people live their lives today? That, we have access to multiple gears, which is, multiple capabilities, multiple talents, but out of habit and comfort, or simply not knowing any better, we tend to stick to one gear, or things that we're familiar with, or a particular way of doing things, and we don't really explore to see what else we can do and how else we can do it differently. The sad thing about all of this is that, people are typically stuck in one gear, not because they lack potential, but because they never learned how to shift to a different gear, or they never really explored a different gear. On a mountain bike, different gears exist because the creators of the bike are very aware that terrain changes. And so the requirements of a flat terrain are different from the requirements of an uphill terrain. And so, similar to our life changes all the time, especially nowadays with the advent of, AI and advancements in technology. Things are shifting pretty quickly. And so, in a way, we really cannot afford to be the same as we were yesterday. There always needs to be an effort on our part to pivot and change and grow and find new ways of doing things, quicker ways of doing things, continuous improvement, because the terrain of life that we're in at the moment has got so much accelerated change that we actually don't have any choice. So, in this season, in this time, it is important for us to be emotionally aware enough to read the terrain, the new terrain, and its requirements, and shift gears appropriately. One thing that I was reading and found really interesting was that apparently, um, when you shift into a higher gear, it feels hardest at first. And I think that's what used to trip me up when I was younger. Because, like, if I change gear and it's hard, I'm like, nah, this ain't for me. I'm gonna shift back down to the gear that I'm used to. There is, and so, when you shift gear, there is more resistance at first, and there is it feels harder, and your legs have to work differently. They have to learn this new level of resistance. And many people feel that resistance, and immediately they shift back down, like what I used to do. But, that's the same thing in our life. Growth, sometimes initially, it feels uncomfortable, it feels hard, it feels unfamiliar. And the moment that we try and shift to operate on a higher level, on a different level, there's going to be resistance. And so, I guess knowing this now, it's up to us to recognize that, hey, I've shifted a gear and it does feel a little bit funny and a little bit different. But this is not the time to go back down to the gear that I was. This is the time for me to dig in and get used to and the new gear, and find ways of managing the new gear better, and teaching my leg muscles to work a little bit differently. And so my question today, I guess, and is that what gear have you been stuck in? Like, what have you been struggling with? What area have you looked at and thought, there's no way I can do this. There is no way I can think about this different. After all, I've always done it this way. That's a trap. I've always done it this way. It's a trap. Um, and so yeah, and I just want to encourage you that just because it feels hard, just because it feels unfamiliar, just because it feels different, doesn't mean that it's wrong. Maybe it's time to stop, reassess, look at the resources and the skills that you've been using, look at the gear that you're in, and learn how to shift to another gear, learn how to utilize different resources, different skills, and different ways of looking at things. And besides, most of the time we have all these hidden talents and abilities that we just haven't tapped into yet. And because we haven't tapped into them, we don't know they exist. So just like I said in my video last week about us exploring our different potentials and different abilities, I implore you to do that as well. Maybe in shifting to a different gear, yes, it requires different skills, yes, it requires a different approach, but maybe this is the perfect opportunity for you to find out some of that hidden gold that has been in you this whole time, but you just didn't know about it. Anyway, it is a win-win. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your company. Give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more content like this. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, see ya.